So these are some of the team practices we did for the projects to help us move along. A lot of it was just extreme programming. We did a lot of rapid prototyping because a lot of things that were moving parts and we really weren't sure how they were going to work, and that's in practice. So we had to come up with a lot of hacky ways of doing things. Like for the Spartacus part, there was a lot of adoption from code that was already in MATLAB to Java, right? And there was a lot of mistakes that we found that were in the original code that needed to be corrected.
Well,
So
not so much mistakes as it wasn't coded for our situation,
yeah.
so we had to adapt a lot of code for the circumstances we were using it in.
What kinds of extreme programming practices did you apply?
So a lot of it was pair programming sometimes. Yeah, when it came to the
Like I sat down with the original writer of the code a lot, and we just coded side by side to get things working.
Yeah.
Things of that nature.
Yeah, especially when it came to the integration of all our code, we all sat down together to do that part, like Swim 2. And yeah, we had stand-up meetings every week. Yeah, we had a shared workspace where we set all our documents and where we all had our architectural documents, and everyone could keep track of the project from there. Okay, that was the Google Drive and the Git repository we had. Okay, we kept track of our deliverables using Pivotal Tracker, and we had Hangouts to conduct most of our meetings. Okay. Now, some of the issues we faced were with requirements capturing. I think that was the first major issue we had, because every time we tried to come up with requirements, the client had always told us to go get some more, and we had
Specific format.
yeah, exactly. We had to follow a very specific format for him, which turned out to be pretty okay, because it was a lot of storytelling. It was a storytelling format, and was something we really enjoyed coming up with. And that's why I finally came up with the use case that we decided to go with for the project. Okay, the documentation was, we weren't so faithful with this because we kind of documented as we went on, or as it became necessary. Like, we kept a lot of the code in the dark, and it was towards the end of the project that we started going through everything again, trying to document. Okay, we learned enough the new technology. Scheduling and delivery of our estimates were a little bit off, and well, we got back on track towards the end of the project. And the integration of the projects, of the different components of the project, was a major issue faced. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so these are some of the success criteria that we set for ourselves and the client set at the beginning of the project, and these were some of the things that we accomplished. The things that are in green are things that were actually fulfilled, and things in yellow are the things that were somewhat complete. Okay, so we developed the Android library that can be used in all our mobile applications. That's the Spartacus library. We developed a sample application to use the library in testing the functionality of the prototype, which was both the application and the mobile app that was developed by Swati. Now we tested the effectiveness of the application in a realistic interactive spaces environment, which is, we really couldn't get that done. We had something similar when we went to present in Pittsburgh. We had a lot of displays, and a lot of people could interact with the system that way. So that was a realistic environment, but we haven't done it in the actual interactive spaces environment that was set up for us by Google. Okay. We were able to test the efficiency of the library on mobile phones. We couldn't test the battery drain, but we tested the approximate CPU overhead, and that was a couple of milliseconds late, about 400, 500.
On average, the processing took around 400 to 500 milliseconds.
Milliseconds late, yeah. And there was a lot of when that cascades through the cloud server and everything, there was almost a delay of a 1 second response, which was pretty late. But we have.
I haven't optimized the code yet. We can make that much faster.
And so
You also customize it accordingly, like we added some delay in the, when the refresh.
Yeah, it happens. Okay. So we plan on improving the library to make it more efficient. We did that a little bit to make it more efficient, especially for the cloud server part. We made sure it didn't broadcast to every single client that was connected and things like that. We expect to make it more extensible. As right now, the libraries are pretty extensible, that's pretty okay. And our client has asked for some documentation so they could deploy the actual application over there at Google. Okay, so we produced an XSplit, we deployed it in the production environment. We basically covered all our core success criteria, and we also covered the stretch. Near real-time response rate, that's the one thing that we really didn't get, but since it's less than a second, we marked that as a green. Okay? That was the major things that we did. Thank you. Any other questions? Besides the demo.
Let's give you guys a round of applause.
Thank you.
So if you're doing this project again,
Yeah.
knowing what you know now, what would you do different?
Start working a lot earlier, because we spent a lot of time talking about the user stories and what we're going to do. Well, we spent a lot of time doing that, almost 4 to 5 weeks on the project. So we should have come up with a use case a lot earlier, or a narrative a lot earlier.
When you were doing that, did you have the client involved?
Yes, the client was
Yeah.
involved.
He was heavily focused on user stories more so than actual implementation.
Yeah.
So that's why like it took a while to get to a point where we found a user story that he wanted to do enough where he would like let us move on to actually implementing rather than just developing new use cases and user stories and things like that.
Other issue was integration, like we should have like integration, since we were like working on different components, in the end, like integration had some issues, so we should have like
Done that
communicated
a lot,
better, and yeah, so that was an issue. Otherwise,
And if we came up with all these things earlier, we would have had a lot of time to optimize, because this is something that we would have realistically finished in about 4 weeks. If that's not 4 weeks from the beginning, but 4 weeks from when we started implementing, and we could have done a lot of optimizing after that. So if we started earlier, we would have.
So when will this be in the Google Internet Interactive Spaces area?
Really don't know. Right
I don't
now,
know,
it's
that's not up to
very-
us.
Yeah, it's
Ah.
very finicky. And,
But I mean, when
yeah,
will you have it at least working there?
We're going to. Well, hopefully we'll be able to demo later today.
Yeah, I
if you
mean,
guys
it,
are-
yeah, it
yeah.
So I'm
works
free
recent.
What
before.
time?
we did a demo at Google on Monday. this
Oh, you
Monday.
did?
Yeah, we did.
How did that go?
It went well.
No, after
It did
you.
not work.
Yeah.
Yeah, that part.
I'm sorry, it just didn't work. I'm free tomorrow morning.